Just a few hours, Lori Lightfoot will reveal what she's learned about the financial troubles in South Suburban Dalton.
Dalton trustees hired the former Chicago mayor to investigate their own mayor's office.
When you see that the trustees are talking about layoffs, it gives you a clue that the financial situation is dire. I believe that it's really important for us to bring forward to the members of the public, the residents of Dalton, what we have found so far, because there's a lot of tough decisions that are going to have to be made. That has to be made in context and with full transparency.
Hold up, not Tiffany Henyard's attempt to depart the nation following the finding of fresh, damning evidence against her and her many board of trustees.
May of 2024, which is a negative $3.65 million.
Over the last 3 fiscal years, the average monthly expenditures of the village have increased by nearly 30%. As you can see in the graphic, in fiscal year 2022, on average, the village spent about $1.9 million a month. But in the last fiscal year, that amount had climbed to $2.5 million.
According to Lori Lightfoot's previously hidden hardcore proof, the folks who were shielding Tiffany from being arrested just threw her under the bus, so it appears like the arrest that we've all been waiting for is finally going to happen any moment now. Tiffany was able to nicely refute the earlier evidence, but she is now in a panic over the new evidence because she knows it will be the last of her. In fact, things have gotten so bad that some members of the Board of Trustees are calling for Tiffany's instant arrest because they fear she could leave the country at any time.
Trustees argue the mayor has not paid vendors and won't provide budget items explaining any spending. Tonight, Lightfoot will reveal what she's been able to uncover despite Henyard's unwillingness to cooperate. We did catch up with Lightfoot this week.
For those of why all wondering who Lori Lightfoot is, she's the former mayor of Chicago, and she was chosen by the Board of Trustees of Dalton to step in as a special investigator in this case after they tried to investigate Tiffany's corruption on their own and failed to pull any vital evidence. Some people were actually skeptical about bringing Lori on board with this investigation because they thought she was too corrupt and was just going to try to protect Tiffany. Some of the people of Dalton belied that Lori was in on the whole thing and that there's more evidence against Tiffany that's not enough to throw her in jail. But she didn't release it because they were trying to buy Tiffany more time to get away with these crimes. In fact, during a recent town hall meeting that happened just a few weeks ago, Tiffany and her entourage caused a scene after they tried to stop Lori from getting the mic and giving people an update on her investigation. The whole theme seemed like a whole planned act, and people immediately started going in on the Board of Trustees for even hiring Lori to take charge of the investigation in the first place because they believe she just as corrupt as Tiffany.
Once a mayor too, you should not even be disrespectful like that. That's sad. Clear the room! Clear the room! Clear the room, guys! This means adjourn. Everybody out.
Someone said, "This is a completely laughable situation. A corrupt mayor being investigated by another corrupt mayor. Hiring a fox to defend the henhouse is a stupid idea. Just like hiring Lori Lightfoot to examine Tiffany Henyard. One crooked mayor against another." According to someone else, I often tell my kids that real life is far more exciting than computer games, even with all of the accusations of corruption. In order to discover as much information as she could about Tiffany, Lori implanted a battery pack in her. She dug through the archives and revealed as much information as she could. She found that, in May 2024, Dalton's general fund balance had decreased to a deficit of $3.65 million, which was already a significant amount of money. If you're wondering what exactly Tiffany was using these credit cards for, well, buckle up because you're going to be shocked to learn that she was using them to make purchases at Amazon. Lori also revealed, quote, thorough credit card transactions totaling thousands of dollars, which have been linked to the costly online shopping spree Tiffany had been having whenever she was boarding her house. Target, Walgreens, Wayfair, and other stores were among them. Notably, on January 5, 2023, she made 2 purchases on Amazon costing $33,000 and $5,000. She also spent over $7,000 at Wayfair and $2,200 at Best Buy, and in all, she spent $102,000 on foreign vacations in the last year alone. If you think that was bad, wait until you hear the rest of it, because it truly gets worse than this. Lori's existence, according to its investigation, as of June 18, 2024, at least 589 checks totaling more than $6 million had been signed and printed, but they had never been sent to vendors. Keep in mind that these vendors use their checks to pay for food for their families, so Tiffany was obviously indifferent because she only cared about herself and chose to use the money for her opulent lifestyle.
Per records from the John Kasparek firm, as of June 18,
2024, there are 589 checks totaling over $6 million that have been approved, printed, but not transmitted to vendors. And that is.
However, Tiffany was using Dalton's money for more than just lavish vacations and billboards showing her face. Lori found that Tiffany was also bribing police officers to perform favors for her. The nature of these favors is unknown, but it's safe to assume that they were improper given that she was paying them thousands of dollars in overtime. For some reason, this went unnoticed until Lori got involved in the probe. Additionally, Lori found that 2 police officers had been paid more for overtime than they were paid annually. For the fiscal year 2024, Officer 1 made $887,000, but in addition to that, he got $114,000 in overtime pay. Officer 2 made $73,000, but in addition to that, he earned $112,000 in overtime compensation.
Both of these individuals in the last 2 years have earned more in overtime than their base compensation. It's our understanding that he is not part of the collective bargaining unit and has not been for some time, which under normal circumstances would mean that he is not entitled to overtime. But as you can see here, for FY22, FY23, and FY24, and we're now in fiscal year 2025, through those 4 years, he's accumulated $215,747,000 just in overtime.
Now that the FBI learned of this and Lori turned in the evidence, 2 subpoenas were issued for the feds to search through all of Tiffany's properties and unearth even more proof of her corrupt self. In the first subpoena, the feds reportedly sought tax records and personnel files. I know you all heard how loudly everyone gasped in that room when they realized that Tiffany was paying the 2 officers more for overtime than their actual salaries, and nobody one-eyed something fishy is really going on here. Time and attendance logs, contracts, and cash checks from Henyard's multiple endeavors, including a restaurant, a property management company, a political action organization, and a charity in her name. In the second subpoena, they are looking for financial records of the township, including payroll records, budgets, credit card purchases, expense reports, reimbursements, security details, and vehicle use. In addition, they discovered a ton of incriminating evidence. Finally, Tiffany's access to Dalton's accounts has been restricted until the investigation is finished, preventing her from embezzling more money than she already has. According to reports, the Board of Trustees approved a freeze on credit card spending amid the ongoing federal investigation, but it doesn't end there because word on the street is while all these town hall meetings had been being had and these decisions were being made, Lori Lightfoot has still been heavily investigating this case, and she's even gone as far as to link to some of the people who may have helped Tiffany carry out her corrupt behavior. Now, this evidence hasn't been made public yet, but according to reports, it's going to be the final nail in the coffin for Tiffany. As usual, people had their own thoughts about this, like this person who said, "I'm impressed by Lori Lightfoot. She did a thorough investigation, found some major is, and she's not even done with it fully yet. Glad the residents and trustees are finally getting some answers." Another person said, "This is beyond sickening. Inflation is at an all-time high, and the Henyard admin is destroying the lives of residents. Without a care in the world, heads will roll." But now I want to know your thoughts. What do we all think about all this new evidence that Lori Lightfoot has found against Tiffany? And do I all really think that Tiffany's going to be put behind bars anytime soon? Y'all been knew what to do. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And don't forget to click here to watch this other very messy video.